Power Up with NSA North Texas, a show about finding, hearing, and maximizing valuable insights from some of the world's leading business and lifestyle speakers. Each week, international keynote speaker and National Speakers Association North Texas chapter president Betti sits down with some of the most exciting speakers this side of the globe to hear from these subject matter experts what's making a difference in business today and learn all there is to know about people, profits, and productivity in business from some of the world's best motivators. This is Power Up with NSA North Texas. And now, here's your host, Betti Coffee.
I'm your host, Betti Coffee, president of NSA North Texas, and I want to welcome you to our show today. The NSA National Speakers Association is the premier organization for professional speakers. Our members, our speakers, reach audiences as authors, consultants, coaches, trainers, educators, mentors, and speakers, and motivators, and we do it every day. This show is going to give you the opportunity to hear some of the topics, the issues, what's important in business today. And you're going to hear some of the solutions from our own subject matter experts, our own speakers within NSA North Texas. This is going to be exciting. And today's show, I am really excited about. My guest today is Tim Marvel. Tim is a veteran of the United States Naval Submarine Service. He is a speaker, author, strategic advisor, and I really mean this. He's a genuinely nice and really great guy. He is a CSP, Certified Speaking Professional from NSA, which is the highest earned designation a speaker can get. With over 30 years of sales, management, consulting experience, he takes what he's learned and encourages others towards fantastic success. Tim believes in helping people where they are now and delights in their transformation towards growth. The topic today, are you ordinary or are you absolutely extraordinary? So what I want my audience to do, I want you to close your eyes. Don't do this if you're driving, but close your eyes for me, just 1 minute, and think. Think about your business. Think about your life. Is it ordinary or is it absolutely extraordinary? Are you trying to find consistency and confidence in your employees? Are your processes well-defined and documented? Are they focused on the future? Do you have a plan to get you where you want to go? Well, we're going to hear about that from Tim Marvel. Tim helps businesses answer these questions and move them towards a more profitable, sustainable operation. So, Tim, welcome to the show today.
Well, thanks for that great introduction.
I'm so thrilled to have you. Yes. All right, sir. So let's just dive right on in. Why is it so hard for people to go over and above? I mean, a lot of people just try to stay stagnant, stay in the happy comfort zone, right?
You get comfortable, right?
Yeah. Now, so why is it so hard for people to go above and beyond?
Well, people get in a comfort zone like we were just saying, and it's so easy just to stay there. You maybe you're a business and you're profitable and you think, wow, I'm doing really well. And they forget there's no ceiling on where you could go if you just put in the energy and effort and processes in place to move forward. And we can do that in our personal lives. We can do it as businesses. It's just a lot of fun to watch people grow.
You had mentioned to me when we were talking earlier, there's a book out there. What's the name of that book?
It's called Good to Great.
That's right.
And it's by Jim Collins.
Why is that book so good?
Because it's third party. For me, you always have to have somebody else that maybe have gone before you and said, this is why this happens. So it's a little bit that helps people see that what I'm saying is not a bunch of fluff.
From good to great. How much energy is that going to take me, Tim?
It might take a little energy, but it's worth it. Otherwise, you're going to stay right where you are.
You're right. And we don't want to stay that way.
Right.
Because especially today, if we stay the way we are, we're going to be dinosaurs.
Whether it's your personal life, relationships, whether it's financially, whether it's your businesses, it's all the same.
It's everything that pertains to our life. I understand. So how do we correct the mindset and be happy and energetic to go above and beyond the call of duty, if you will? How do we get our heads in that direction?
Well, I think it's with simple changes. I think it's tiny tweaks, or what I call 10 seconds daily. It's about choices, and it's about compounding our efforts. Let's say I'm trying to watch my waistline. Mm-hmm. If I went and did 10 setups, it may not do a lot for me, but if I do 10 a day for a year, well, how many do we have at that point?
That's right.
365 times 10, so 3,650 setups, and I might see a difference there, but it's through that consistency and persistency of keeping back and going back to that same thing.
So you mentioned 10 seconds. So 10 seconds, what does that really mean?
It's making a choice, making a decision, being intentional about what you want to do. And if you can be intentional, now there's some other planning you might want to do, but if you're a planner, it's really easy, but 10 seconds is just the start. It's a mindset.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
Just 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that is going to help me. Kind of like, does that help me when I'm hopping out of bed in the morning and I can make a decision at that point? I've got 10 seconds and say, Betty, this day is going to be great. You're going to go outside your comfort zone. You're going to push in some areas that you need to push in. You're going to do what you need to do. And if I get in that habit, then it becomes a mindset, and then I'm rocking and rolling, right?
I've read on a blog somewhere the first 1,000 words you hear in the morning are going to be what your day's set up around. So if you hear negative, maybe you turn on the news and you listen to all the negative stuff. Guess what? You may head that direction. You stub your toe. Oh, today's going to be horrible. But is it really? If I make the choice, if I'm intentional about moving forward, having a little better day, could my day be better? And the answer is yes.
I love that. So we have the power within ourselves.
Absolutely.
To build our own momentum.
That's
and
correct.
Build our future.
You know a little bit about momentum, don't you?
I do. So tell me, what started you thinking about making progress every day like this? What got you going? What was the catalyst?
Wow, that's a really great question. And let me tell you why, because it makes me go way back. For those people that know me, know that I've been a runner most of my life. And when I started running, I was really horrible. A matter of fact, in junior high, I would get lapped by everybody in the mile race. And when I stayed with it long enough to finally beat a guy, he quit because he couldn't believe I beat him. But by sticking with it, I've been able to complete marathons, ultramarathons, and so on.
Really?
So it's really, again, about making that choice and continuing to move forward, kind of documenting where you start and watch yourself move forward.
How does that apply? Okay, I get that if I want to be a runner. I
Right.
get that if I want to be a swimmer. I get that if I want to go to the gym and make myself go. And I start building that mindset and building that habit. Now, how does that work for business?
It's, as a manager, we've always heard you can only manage what you measure. And that's where it comes in.
Ooh, okay.
So as a manager, I need to have some documentation, some kind of way to measure my efforts. I do it through journaling every day. My goal, journaling, is to write down one thing I did to move forward every day. At the end of the month, I take each day and I look at it and I say, what did I do that day? I actually put in what I call a success log, which is a high-dollar leather-bound journal that I keep just to put my successes in. So if you do get in that state of mind where you go, gee, I don't feel like I'm making progress, you go back and review your success log and see what you've done.
Look what you've accomplished.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we take that for granted. I hear you. We take that for granted, what we've accomplished, and we forget it. And if we kept track of it, we feel better about where we are and where we've come from.
Life can be exciting.
Yes.
You know,
I couldn't agree more. I agree. Okay, so how does this fit? Explain why you use the comparison of ordinary and extraordinary. How does that fit with what we're talking about?
Well, the great Jim Rohn once said, the most successful people do the little things better than anybody else. I believe that's true.
Say that again.
The most successful people in the world do the little things better than anybody else.
The little things. That's interesting.
It is about, when we reach a major goal, it's not typically about that goal. It's all those things we did along the way to put it together, to make it come together. You know, you knew my goal, I think, when I started to think about being a speaker. I had a 6-year plan. I wanted a book a year for 6 years. I wanted 100 videos a year for 6 years, and I wanted to get to 250,000 views on my blog. When I go back and look at it, there's over 400,000 words that are written at 5 minutes at a time. So it's that tiny effort that I did every day. It wasn't one day I sat down and wrote all this out. I did it over time, persistence, consistency. You heard me say that earlier.
Right.
So being focused.
This is so good to have you on right now because of the new year coming up where people are setting goals and resolutions and everything else. This is ideal. I'm so happy you're here.
I love this time of year. Actually, my fourth quarter is when I really get excited about setting goals for businesses. So they start early to really go back and review what they've done. And we get out of that old knack of saying, I want a 10% increase and I want to sell 10% more units or whatever their dynamics are. Because that's what we said for years. And we set these goals And you go back and review them a month or so later, and where are you at? You haven't made any progress because you're not really measuring on a regular basis. So
excellent ideas. Okay, so we're going to talk about your books, and you're going to show the audience your books here later. But tell me about how your books, Pay It Forward and Attitude, are two that seem to stand out when you're talking about taking action.
Well, you're going to find out later, I believe relationships are more important than anything else you have in your life. And Pay It Forward is about a simple way that gives you instructions of doing in 30 days, you take 10 days and you do something absolutely free. Maybe I let you sneak in front of me on the freeway. Maybe I open the door for you going in the drugstore or wherever you're going. Simple, free, and easy. And then the second 10 days might be to buy you a Subway sandwich or a coffee or something simple. And the last, maybe the most important, is about your time. Volunteer a day, go somewhere and spend a few hours, pay back. It's amazing when you do that. And people sometimes are shocked.
Yes.
And if you make it a routine, it's not a big surprise, and you'll do it different ways. And then the money doesn't even seem to be an issue. Now, I didn't give away my house.
Yeah.
But it's nothing unusual to walk in, and I don't know this gentleman. I didn't get his name. I walked into the donut shop because I really like chocolate donuts.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And a guy ordered a bunch of kolaches, and I said, "Double your order, I'll pay for it." And then I went to order my donut, and they didn't have any donuts. So I just left. I got in my car and felt good about myself, and I didn't eat the donut. So I made out.
When you doubled the order of kolaches, how did he act? What was his reaction?
He was like, "Oh, you don't have to do that." And I said, "That's okay." I heard him tell the lady that was bagging his stuff together that he was going to go give it to homeless people. And I said, "Well, you know what? By being intentional, maybe I impacted somebody. I don't know. But if you just do it every day, you don't know who you're going to impact."
I love that. And that feeling that you had afterwards was absolutely priceless, right?
Oh, it was a lot better than the donut.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to go to the gym.
Yeah, but I hear you. I think it was on the news, I don't know, a couple years ago where, if you're going through the drive-through of McDonald's or Burger King or Whataburger down here in Texas, and you give the clerk, maybe the person at the window, an extra $5 or something, and say, "Just give this to the guy behind me on his order." That makes you feel so good. There's nothing like it. It just makes you feel so good. It's priceless.
Well, you do it from your heart. If you do it from your heart, you're going to get a lot back.
Yes.
If you struggle to do it, don't do it.
I understand. Okay, so when we're talking about the timeline to go from ordinary to extraordinary, there might be people that are thinking, I've got a lot going on. I'm raising a family. I've got a lot of obligations towards my family. I'm really busy at work. Then I have all these other outside interests. I've got to take the kids to soccer. I've got aging parents. I've got all this other stuff to do. I'm just barely getting by with the ordinary. And you're telling me I have to go to extraordinary? Wow, how do I do that? Okay, you're giving me some ideas, but how long is it going to take? Is this a lifetime thing, or how long does it take?
Well, that's really up to you. It could be a lifetime thing. For me, it's a lifetime thing. I've been doing it for 8 to 10 years now, and I found different ways to impact my life and different ways by doing simple things to make my days better. I absolutely love my wife, Rocky. Every morning I get up and I send her a text of encouragement.
There's a plug, Rocky.
There she is. I hope you're listening. So, but it's so amazing. Do you want to try it for 30 days? I suggest email me. I'll send you a book. So
Cool.
Anybody that wants to email me and ask for a book, I'll be happy to send it out. So that's not a problem. I just need your address, and because that's part of paying it forward.
Right. Now, you are a speaker, a coach, and a consultant. Very successful speaker, coach, and consultant. And I remember we were talking, you told me about 4 different questions you ask. What are those 4 questions?
So there's a lot of ways to set goals, and this is my way. I took it from an old GAP presentation I used to do when I was a consultant for a company 20 years ago or whatever it's been now. But my 4 questions are real simple. Where are you right now? And if you're looking at some kind of metrics or numbers or measurements, you want to look at 90 days to give you a good baseline. Where do I want to be? Which is, what are my goals? What I really see? What's my vision? What am I willing to do to get there? And see, if we're honest with ourselves, that's where the struggles come in.
True.
So what am I willing to do to get there? Am I willing to sit down and look at my processes? Do I need to do some redesigning? what am I really doing? So when I go into businesses, that's why I always ask them, did you document your processes? Let's see them. And they're usually like, well, let me get the dust off. It's been a while since we looked at them.
Yeah.
So, and then the last question is, I think they're all important, but this may be the most important. It's about accountability. You know, we all try to hold ourselves accountable. January 1st is coming and everybody's going to say, I'm going to go to the gym every day this year, yada, yada, yada. And 2 weeks later, you're done for the year pretty much. And how do I hold myself accountable? And I always suggest that you have somebody else hold you accountable, because you're not going to do as good a job yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Accountability partners. So once again, summarizing just those 4 questions. The first.
Where am I now?
Second.
Where do I want to be?
Third.
What am I willing to do to get there?
And fourth.
And who else knows?
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, now, I know relationships are very important to you. Tim is a real leader within our NSA North Texas chapter. And in fact, he's going to be president in 2020.
Woohoo.
And he's going to be fantastic. But relationships are incredibly important to Tim. So tell me why, and why is that so important? And then some of the things, what do you do to make them even grow further?
Well, I believe everything in life is about relationships. And all the books other than tech manuals are written about relationships, whether you're looking at the Bible or anything else. They're all surrounded about people and emotions and so on. Mm-hmm. It's been people that's made the difference in my life, that's helped me really have a good life. Going from a large family in the Midwest that I really didn't have a direction, to where I am now, where I feel I've accomplished more in my life than I ever thought I would. And it's been through those relationships that people led me through, kind of guided me through potholes, even when I didn't know they were doing it. So relationships, they're the most important thing to me.
They truly are. They truly are. And I observed that with you as you're growing and preparing to be president of our largest chapter. Good for you. So what is the biggest issue you hear over and over when you're speaking to people, when you're coaching them, when you're in an organization and you're being a consultant for them? What's the biggest issue you hear over and over?
I can't get out of my own way.
Oh, I love that. I can't get out of my own way. That's so true.
Yep. I don't know whether it's organizational skills, whether it's commitment. Everybody's an individual, and there's a different way their minds go. A lot of times by just having a conversation, you're able to find out what's getting in their way. And then if you really go to the 4 questions, you remember what number 3 was? I'm just checking.
I remember the 4th was accountability.
Accountability is important, but what are you willing to do to get there is really important.
Oh, yeah.
So if I say I want to be a millionaire, what do I got to do? Well, I got to put some things in place to get there. Maybe I need some education. Maybe I need to read the book, The Millionaire Mind,
mm-hmm.
which is a great book, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you the mindset of being a millionaire. What would I do if I had $1 million? And so we won't go deep into that, but it's about age and where you are and so on. But you can't get out of your own way. You got to put down on paper. I think you need to document it, and there's some truth.
Be honest with yourself.
Absolutely. And because you know what? We lie to ourselves more than we lie to anybody else in the world. Right?
Hey, that's an interesting concept. That's true.
It is true. I want to lose weight. Guess what? I'm the only one that can make that choice. I'm the only one that can go to the gym.
Yeah. When
it's cold out in the morning, I was laughing because I heard somebody say that the other day. We woke up and it was, I don't know, it was 25 or 30 or whatever it was. And I was like, man, I don't want to go to the gym today. So, and we were talking to somebody at church or wherever it was, and they said, oh, and they said, you didn't go to the gym because it was cold out? That doesn't make sense. And they were right. It didn't make sense.
I know.
Just a choice.
It's true. I'll be looking out my window sometimes and I got to run this errand, I got to do that, I got to do that. Well, it's cold. Well, it's dreary. And then when I actually get out there, it's not that cold. It's not that dreary.
And then
it's
you go
not that
home
bad.
and you feel better, right?
Yeah, you always feel better. You always had to push. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Okay. So what level do you work at? I mean, and when you're working, what level do you work at?
Well, I love that question. So I work with individuals. I work with anybody from the janitor,
okay,
all the way up to the owner, CEO, and it's basically a process, and we go through and we just have a conversation like we're having right now. And again, communication is one of those skills you have to have that in order to move forward. Sometimes you find out that the problem is the person trying to give the orders, and maybe not really the person down below. Maybe they don't understand what they're supposed to be doing. So I work with anybody.
That's wonderful. So I know that you work with a lot of different types of industries. The automotive industry is one that you've had extensive experience in. When you approach a dealership, or kind of give me an idea, when you go there, because I know you do a lot of traveling and you're phenomenal at this, and you're always called back. In fact, this is what I mentioned before. Tim doesn't market himself. He gets all of his business. Think about this. He gets all of his business from renewals and developing relationships. That's pretty darn good. So what do you do when you go to an organization and you're going to be there for a few days? What levels do you start at? How does it work?
Well, I like to start at the top. So who's the decision maker? Is it the owner? Is it the general manager? Is it somebody else? And I like to sit them in with their department heads and just have a conversation. Where do you want to go? What's your vision? Do you know what you really want? Or do we need to really determine what our vision is first, and then we can sit down and look at our processes and our plans to get there?
So it's very customized, very tailored.
Absolutely. Everybody's different. You know, the funny thing, speaking about the car industry, I've been in more than 500 dealerships in the last 15 years.
Wow.
We all do the same things. We all buy cars and sell cars. Or I'm sorry, we all fix cars and sell cars. Every single dealership has been different. Isn't that amazing? We all want the exact same things.
We all want the same things, but we're all so different.
Even within the same organization, it is a people business, and most businesses are.
Right. And so you had to be incredibly flexible when, depending upon the level you're talking with and what the situation is when you get there, how bad it is or how good it is, right?
Right.
I love that. Okay, so when you say it's all about other people finding success, tell me why you feel that way. Why is it all about other people?
Well, I listened to a guy named Brian Buffini. And if anybody's in real estate, he is maybe the best consultant trainer in the country, or in the world maybe. I know he's in many countries. But he talks about the 4 stages of life. He talks about survival, where when we first go out on our own, we're just trying to find enough money to pay our rent and so on. And maybe there's more month than money. And then maybe we get to where we're a little bit stable and we're paying all our bills, and maybe we have enough money to go out, try to build relationships, find the right way to say that. And then we move on further in life, we become successful. We get those promotions, and we're putting away our money for our retirement, and we're paying off our homes and so on. But the next stage is one that I think is most important, and it's about being significant. And it's when you realize that your life's not about you. That your life's going to be about what you leave behind by the relationships. We're going back to relationships. So it's about others. So when I can make my life about others is when you've really reached that pinnacle. And it's amazing when you talk to people that do the philanthropists that go out and they do these amazing things, and they go, geez, it's so great to give. And I know some people think they're doing it for tax cuts, but I do believe some of them really do get some joy out of knowing that they've actually done something to impact somebody else's life, to make it better. And I think that's what we're all here for.
I love that. So those 4 stages are survival, stable, being stable, and then turns into being successful.
Right. But you're not done.
The most important one is what you leave at the end of the day and how significant you made others.
Just remember, it's not about you.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so Mr. Tim, I know that it's all about relationships and how you, and referrals and building relationships with people and getting more business. Talk to us about your books.
So I brought a couple different books. I have 7, and I brought the 2 that I thought were most important. Since we've talked a lot about paying it forward, there's a book called 10 Seconds. They're all 10 Seconds Daily, and they're all a series. And they're all about how I can move myself forward in these different areas of your life. So they're 30-day exercises. So it's not I'm going to go read this on an airplane and I'm done. I know it looks small, but there's 30 days. I believe when you wake up in the morning is what you put in your mind to start your day off, is how your day is going to go. And if you end your day going back to that good thought.
And this is what you do religiously, right?
This is what I do.
Wow.
So
okay.
I haven't listened to the news in years, and I can tell you I know most of the things that are going on.
Okay.
The other one is about attitude. Now, it's 10 Seconds Daily. It's an exercise in attitude. Now, this is about mindset. And now there's actually 3 30-day segments in here. And I started each of them out with the my story, like, why is this important to me? How did it start? Where did this talks about a bike wreck I had 20 years ago, and it talks about what really started changing in my life to make me make other decisions. And again, 10 seconds daily, I could have easily said 1 second, but I don't think people would have paid attention.
Right, right.
So it's really about choices we make. And are we committed? So if I want to make some changes, am I willing to commit 30 days to try it out? And that's really up to you. And once you do it, what I find is that people will find it so easy that they try it in other parts of their life. So it's exciting. You just have to get your foothold and start moving forward, and it'll all come together.
Okay, now how can people get your books?
They can go to my website. Just go to www.timmarvel.com. And the books
Say that one more time.
www.timmarvel, it's TIMMARVEL.com. And that'll take you over, go to the books tab, and they're all located there.
They're all located there. Okay, and if our audience wants to reach out to you in other ways, what is your email address?
Okay, same Tim Marvel, TIMMARVEL 60 @gmail.com.
Wonderful. And your phone number?
Ooh, okay, 214-801-0903.
This has been so much fun. You have so much knowledge and so many things. I love the fact that you're on the show right now because we're all busy. We've got the holidays coming up. We're really not thinking about, that much about really getting down and perfecting ourselves. And this is a great time to plant that seed and then watch it grow after the first year. I love that. So, Tim, if you have some last words you want to leave with our audience today, what are those last words?
Well, I want to challenge you to think about what we say when we're in conversation. And if you're using a lot of whys, which is about the past, I want you to think about using what's, which is about the future. So it's not the whys, it's the what's that matter that make you extraordinary.
I love that. Say that one more time.
You're going to make me tongue-tied here.
I am.
It's not about the whys, it's the what's that can make your life extraordinary.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so Tim, great job today. And thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, it's all about powering up to be better, to be faster, to be stronger. And that's what Tim's been talking about. You've been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thanks for listening to Power Up with NSA North Texas. To find out more about today's guest or NSA North Texas, visit www.speaker.org. To find out more about Power Up, visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/groups/NSA North Texas. And to find out more about Betti, visit www.betticoffeepresents.com.